Ferney, we're prepping to do some testing tomorrow. And one of the parts of the test is we're going to be doing this out on a football field with no power.
Yes.
So for the access points we have, we need to keep them powered up for a while. So what was your suggestion?
So initially, well, there are a couple of options and I tested them both. Of course, was using the AxleTech batteries, the accelerators. And I did some testing. Let me show you. So here are the tests that I run. One of them was plugging each AP to each one of these batteries. I just run cables because everything right now is temporarily configured. But this preparation included charging the batteries to 100%, making sure they're fully loaded, and also making sure they're off.
So these are 12-volt batteries, and they have an LCD showing you what their current status is.
Yes, sir, that is correct. So it shows me as the battery starts wearing down how much juice is left. And this covers, I usually carry mine like this, but we're gonna be hanging these batteries from, oh yeah, let me show you.
One of the things on the battery that I like is it lists right on the outside its capacity. So if you're flying and TSA asks a question, it's inside TSA's limits. So that's right there on the Celtex battery. And you know, there's a little screw hole that you can put into a tripod at the bottom as well.
Yes, and of course it's got the USB Type-C port and the regular USB 2. This is the output. It does AF, AT, and also BT, which is great because a lot of the APs nowadays we require that type of power. And also we have the 12-volt output in case we need to plug in a device that will take 12 volts, like the MikroTik routers have come in really handy. So these ones have been really useful because we're going to be mounting this on the tripod. So the test I did to see for how long, because that was part of the preparation, we see how long can I be out there in a football field with no power? And I don't want to carry a rack mountable UPS or any of these big devices. So these ones will allow me to mount these guys on the rack. I'll have the in and out port right here so I can power the AP right there and also take measurements and see how much battery I have left. I tested these batteries with the APs and they can give us about 4.5 hours of testing continuously.
What's the variables? Did you see any difference between the APs?
Yes. For instance, we have a Cambion that is 8x8x8, and I will share more of the details on those, but that and we have a couple of missed AP41s, which are Wi-Fi 5, and one is set to low power and the other one is high power, which is 10 dBm in 2.4 and 16 dBm in 5 gig, and the high power is at 19 dBm in 2.4 and 25 dBm in 5 gig. This guy actually drained the battery faster, the one high power. We also have an AP43, which is an AX, and that they all will on average give us 4 to 4.5 hours. The other test I did, because that's one side of it, the AxleTech batteries will power the APs. The other part is that we need a PoE switch. I think this is just a regular 110 volt. And then that guy I power with this battery, ChargeTech. And this has a couple of just 110 volt outlets. And I plugged in this guy and also an LTE router that we're going to be using. And the times were super longer than the other ones. This guy can run the switch and the LTE box for far longer than the AP. So it went past 5-6 hours. So basically I was at 50% battery with this guy when all of the AxleTech batteries were drained. The other test I did was this guy, since it was halfway through when those guys were drained, so I plugged the APs directly into my switch. So no AxleTech batteries. And then the switch I plugged into this ChargeTech along with the LTE box, and it powered it for about 2.5 hours.
12-volt battery in the ChargeTech to 110 inverter into the AC into the switch, which turned around and turned into DC PoE out, BT, and it powered the APs, multiple APs.
Yeah, but actually this one is not BT. This one just goes AT, and for the testing we're going to be doing, that's sufficient power. So that is enough. And I tested. I had the missed APs on the web interface, and they showed connected. They did give me the warning that there was not sufficient power. But since I'm just running a few clients on each one of them, that's not a problem. I run them with 15 clients, and with AT power, it still works. I'm sure BT is going to be required once you start adding more clients to it.